Joining us tonight, Washington State Congressman, Democrat Adam Smith. Congressman, thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks,
What's
Brett.
your 30,000-foot take from this election and the reaction to it in your party?
Look, there's a lot of different factors here, but I will say bluntly, I think our party needs to do a better job of standing up against some of the extreme left policies that have really propelled Donald Trump forward. And I'd give the same advice to Gavin Newsom that I'm going to give to our new governor, Bob Ferguson, here in the state of Washington. If you want to stand up to Trump, I suggest you don't ever mention him. I suggest you govern well. We have many challenges. I represent, a portion of Seattle and the King County area. We have problems with crime, homelessness, drug abuse, and just inefficient and ineffective government in too many places. If we want to offer an alternative to Trump, then offer an alternative. Govern. Deal with the challenges we face. Let's stop with the, I'm going to stop Trump. I'm going to stand. Oh, great. Okay. What are you doing for the state of Washington? What are you doing for the state of California? What are you doing about the challenges that we face in districts like mine? Mm-hmm. So I hope that would be the approach. Going forward, that's the most important thing in my view.
You're quoted in the Wall Street Journal, and it says Representative Adam Smith, top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee, ticked off a laundry list of progressive priorities, such as defunding the police or embracing policies that enabled millions of migrants to cross the border illegally, that he said had tarnished the party and Vice President Kamala Harris didn't fully address in her campaign. She didn't want to offend the extreme left. Well, the extreme left is leading us into a ditch. It's pretty cut and dry in that quote.
Yeah. No, and I feel that way. And, part of the problem, and I've been trying to deal with this here in King County, is even as these policies go forward, when I try to work with local Democratic elected officials, many of whom I know don't support these policies, they sort of pretend like they don't exist. Okay, like, oh, no, we're not doing that. And then I dig a little deeper and I said, well, yeah, we kind of are doing that. Why don't we change it? And please understand, I say this from a very progressive standpoint. I believe in equality. I believe in opportunity. I believe that racism and sexism are problems in this country. But you don't address those issues by focusing on academic language, having an obsession with identity politics, not securing the border and not securing our neighborhoods. And another big issue for us is just efficient government. I mean, we got a major housing problem in King County. I agree that part of the problem that we have homelessness is because we haven't built enough housing. But where's the efficient, effective government to get that done? You've heard the story of the $1.7 million toilet in San Francisco, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They were going to build a toilet. Because they've got like 11 different commissions, and they have to include absolutely everybody before they make a decision. And believe me, you know this, Brett, we've talked. I'm not a Trump fan.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot not to like there. But we have to offer a reasonable alternative. Personally, I think January 6th was disqualifying. The American people apparently don't agree. So we have to begin to address the issues that are really upsetting people about Democratic leadership.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Just the size of the win also affects kind of the analysis of what you do post-election. I want to ask you if you feel confident about the House. It's leaning. It seems like it's going to be a House controlled by the. You don't.
Sorry to consider it, but no, come on. We no longer have to act positive in order to keep people fired up for the election. The election happened. I can look at numbers as well as anybody else can. I do not feel confident about the House.
So let me just ask the race out there, Democrat Marie Gluesenkamp Perez against GOP Joe Kent. Is she able to fight gravity if
yes, absolutely.
Trump has
and
done
that's
so
a great
well?
Example. I feel very confident about Marie. And I think that's a great lesson. Look at 4 of the more vulnerable House seats in the country. Marie's race, Jared Golden's race, Don Davis in North Carolina, and Gabe Vasquez in New Mexico. They all ran on a very centrist, in some cases conservative message. In Marie's case, in Washington State, she was criticized by the Washington State Democratic Party for some of her votes and some of the positions she's taken. They threatened her with a primary, all right? And she went out there and won in a Trump +6 district. Okay, by delivering a message that was responsive to the needs of her constituents. I think we should learn a lot.
But do you think, Congressman, that's the message? That's the message, the moderate kind of, I'm going to work whether solving problems across the aisle. That's the message, you think, like Marie's message, that your party should follow?
A little bit, but it's also got to be very focused on the working class, on jobs, on effective government, on helping people, and less on some of the more academic issues. And also, we have a real problem with law and order. I mean, the whole defund police, abolish the criminal justice system. I want to help people. You also have to hold people responsible. The notion that people are in no way responsible for the crimes they commit, the drugs they abuse, or their inability to take care of themselves is simply wrong. Now, there are other factors.
Yeah.
Root causes matter. Having enough support for people matters, and I want to do that. But we can't completely take individual responsibility out of that piece. People need to be held accountable. I don't understand why within so much of the Democratic Party you can't hold two ideas in your head at once. Number one, people are suffering. We need to help them. Number two, they need to be responsible. I mean, that seems pretty simple to me. Yeah,
we really appreciate you coming on. I know it's not the easiest thing after a big loss, but being as open as you are to talking about it, we really appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Brett. I appreciate the chance.